Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the
Morning.
2020 AIBPM Talks, the international webinar. I am Nana Yurida on behalf of the AIBPM. I hope everyone is doing great during this difficult time, and it is a great honor for AIBPM to have all of you here. Before we start the webinar, let me give you a little information about the AIBPM Talks. AIBPM Talks is a program where AIBPM provides a platform for researchers to present their research results virtually. We initiate to collaborate and invite researchers to share their knowledge and expertise. Even though the COVID-19 makes it difficult for us to meet each other, the AIBPM will not stop collaborating with many genius researchers, and that is why we decided to have the AIBPM Talks. And for today, the keynote speakers are Dr. Garima Mathur from Prestige Institute of Management Gwalior in India, Associate Professor Dr. Desi Ki Mohyung from Universiti Sains Malaysia, and Dr. Ingy Selim from Arab Academy for Science, Technology, and Maritime Transport, Egypt. And the moderator for today is Dr. Rajesh Kumar Nair from SIES College of Management Studies, India. Dr. Rajesh Kumar Nair is a PhD in Commerce and Management with total of 20 years in corporate and academics in MBA College. He has been a consultant to various MSMEs, consulting them in marketing, sales promotion, sales training activities, and he also has published various papers in academic journals of repute. And the panelists for today are Dr. Noor Nisa from Universiti Uni Arab Emirates, Dr. Varsha Ganatra from Vivekanand Education Society's College of Arts, Science and Commerce, India, Dr. Warrier from CMS Business School, Jain, deemed to be University, Dr. Teoh from Sentral College, Penang, Malaysia, and Dr. Eka Ananta Siddhartha from State University of Malang. And before we start the webinar, I would like to invite you all to listen to our national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Okay, thank you. And now, Dr. Agus Hermawan, the Vice Dean 1 of Economy Faculty, Malang State University, would like to have a speech. Dr. Agus Hermawan, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the International Web Seminar. We are very proud with this occasion, especially you provide your time, even though we are in the different countries. We are very glad to welcome to all of you, for audience, especially for honorable speakers, Dr. Garima Mathur, Dr. Daisy K. Mui Hung, and also Dr. Ingy Selim. I'm sorry if my pronunciation is not correct with your background of language. And also I'm very thankful to the honorable panelists and moderator. We have here Dr. Noor and Nisa, Dr. Varsha Ganatra, Dr. Teoh Ban, Dr. Warrier, and my colleagues, Dr. Eka Ananta, and also the moderator who will guide for this seminar, Dr. Rajesh Kumar Nair. Welcome to our series of seminar. I think this is series of seminar, especially also Mr. Lim and other Association of International Business and Professional Management representative, all of the members, as well as the participation who have attended this event. I want to say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, maybe good afternoon. I don't know the different time. Maybe we have a different time. Okay, as representing the Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Negeri Malang, or we call State University of Malang, I am very proud to be a part of the implementation of International Web Seminar, which the topic is HR, OB, Organizational Behavior, Leadership, and Work-Life Balance. As an information, I want to tell of you that University, State University of Malang consists of around 33,000 students, and our Faculty of Economics and Business consists of 5,500 students. If you don't know about the location of our university, the location is a part of East Java, Indonesia. Currently, as we know that Indonesian people have now entered to the industrial era 4.0 march by the increasing numbers of facilities available using digital of technology. According to the data from Indonesian Ministry of Industry, we call Kemenprin, Kementerian Perindustrian in Indonesian language, we are quite capable in implementing Industry 4.4. So therefore, it takes some preparation to be done, and on the element of our society, especially through the education world. At the level of higher education, this is very important and very important, I think. Universities are obliged to facilitate all the student activities related their self-development, whether this is individual or in a team. An example of activities in student development itself is to application of business activity that are summarized in several courses that have been taken by students in several semesters in the lecturer's class or out of the class. This has become an effective step to develop the character of the student as human resources who have high capabilities. The demand is very high and the competition is also very high. This ability can certainly be enhanced by fostering knowledge, and this is about building human resource management, organization behavior, good leadership, very important, leadership, and also work-life balance. Without any balances, I think we can do nothing. Therefore, the holding of the international webinar, the series, I think this is very important. Will be certainly we have to meet the challenge in education and also raising the horizon of Indonesian young generation. I think this is not the participant from Indonesia itself, but also for Middle East. I thought that all the participants coming from Asia and also Middle East, Egypt, into human resource who are ready to be compete in the industrial age 4.0. That's our challenge, all of us, I think, as scholars. We think that AIBPM speakers, panelists, moderator, and also sponsor, and also committees who have organized these events. We are very thanks for this occasion. Hopefully, this event can run smoothly today, and we can share our knowledge, our expertise, and also we can meet at just not at this moment, but also for the future and the next time. As I asked from the committee to open this occasion, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, maybe we need blessing from the God, Allah. I open this seminar. Have a nice depth discussion for all of you participants. I hope that we can enlarge our knowledge in order to make our relationship, in order to make our collaboration maybe. The collaboration among the university is very important right now. Thank you for your attention. So officially, I open this event. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agus Hermawan, for the speech. Now, without any further ado, I will let the moderator to take over the session. Dr. Rajesh Kumar Nair, please be my guest.
So good morning, everyone. I welcome all keynote speakers, panelists, and participants for the international webinar on HR, ownership, and work-life balance. I'll briefly explain the ground rules of the webinar. The webinar is of 90 minutes. We have 3 keynote speakers today. Each keynote speaker would speak around 15 minutes. After the keynote speech by all speakers, we'll have panelists who would give their opinion about the topic. The panelists would put their question to the respective keynote speaker. Any participant who want to address a question to the keynote speaker is requested to put the question in chat box. The moderator would pick up the question selectively depending on relevance on topic. We now move on to the first speaker. Our first speaker for today is Dr. Garima Mathur. Dr. Garima Mathur is an associate professor in human resource management. She is UGC NEC qualified, Masters of Art in Psychology, and did MBA from Prestige Institute of Management. She has engaged in corporate and academic trainings. She has over 80 national and international referred publications, including Scopus, Web of Sciences, and ABDC, which is due to accredit. She has presented over 50 papers in conference seminars and attended workshops on case writing, teaching, research methodology, and many others. Dr. Garima has received a PhD in management from Jivaji University. She is an active member of various bodies like ISTD, Association of International Business, Indian Accounting Association, and Gwalior Management Association. She has published 2 volumes of edited book on post-recessionary economy, movers and molders of changing world, which is by Crescent Publishers, Allahabad. Dr. Garima is also an editor of Prestige International Journal of IT and Management, Sanchayan, and member of editorial and review boards of many reputed journals, including Academy of Management, Annual Meeting, InterScience Journal, SIES, etc. Over to you, Dr. Garima.
Thank you so much, sir. You're kind enough to introduce me. Before doing anything, I would like to start this my presentation, as I think we are already delayed. I hope it is visible to all. Okay. So should I start?
Yes, Dr. Garima, please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you so much. So I would be talking about managing emotions and working from home during lockdown or during your stay at home. I think this is the buzzword nowadays if we talk about emotions, because we all are dealing with these things. Before going further, before moving ahead, I would like to state a quote by Greg Kincaid, who said, "No matter how much falls on us, we keep plowing ahead. And that's the only way to keep the roads clear." And this is actually very suitable in today's. We don't know what is going to happen in future. How are we going to behave? When are we going to join our offices? When are we going to come at our normal pace, our normal life? So we need to keep on going. We need to keep on doing things. Certainly and definitely we'll reach to some place where we will be able to manage and we'll be having the same life again. So if we talk about emotions, emotions are actually those feelings which we experience over a longer period of time, or I should say that uh, every day we keep on feeling one or the other emotion. At times we might be feeling very energetic, at times we might be feeling very low, at times we might be feeling very shy, at times we might be feeling very outspoken, at times we might be feeling very high on certain emotions and very low on certain emotions. So there's absolutely no problem with any kind of emotions we are experiencing. Actually, we should feel different kinds of emotion. It keeps us alive. Problem is not is of having emotions. The real struggle comes when we are experience a certain emotion for a longer period of time and we are not able to handle it. When we are experiencing emotion of happiness, it's good for us. We are feeling very energetic, we are feeling happy, we see positive in everything. That's very good. But then question is, how many of us feel happy for a longer period of time? Can anybody say that I feel happy every day? Most of us can say, yes, I feel scared, I feel sad, I feel bad every day, but we do not say that I feel or I keep on feeling happy every day. So these things actually leads to mental health problems. We all have this emotional triangle uh, where we have interaction of our mind, body and behavior. If we are supposed to show behavior, then our mind behave in that in a different manner, and that's how our body is taking it. For example, if we have urge to stay at home and avoid socializing, uh, since birth we have been socializing to others, we keep on chatting with others, we keep on, as Indians I should say, we are very socializing kind of people. We keep on discussing, we keep on chatting, we keep on meeting people. We have huge weddings, you must have heard about great Indian weddings. So we keep on interacting with others, and somehow we are locked down in our houses. It is very difficult for us to manage now. How our mind behave in this way, in this particular behavior, I'm going to miss outing, I'm going to miss people, I'm going to miss interactions, and then the result on our body would be heaviness, sad, feeling low because of this emotional workload. Similarly, we have many other emotions as well. For example, we are experiencing fear or anger. what happens to our mind? Our thoughts start racing. We start imagining worse. This can happen, that can happen. For example, if we talk about COVID-19, we all must be fearing that one or the other day we are going to have this COVID-19 in any case. And in that case, we start searching different things. What we do is we start doing different things. Our behavior is actually, in case of fear, we try to avoid things. And if we are under anger, really, please listen. If we talk about anger, in this case, we go and confront other people, because now we don't care what other might feel, how other might understand our behavior. We go and confront them, and that's not a good thing. Similarly, if we talk about sadness, we are feeling sad, or we are feeling low, what happens? Our thoughts are slowed, and in this case, start thinking circle. We keep on thinking same and same thing again and again. See what bad has been done to me. He has spoken so badly to me, and then we focus on negative. We have this ability to find out every negative thing out of every positive thing if we are sad. And in this case, our body's response is we feel heavy, empty, numb, or tired. So when we feel sad, what we do is we withdraw from situation. You must have seen people were speaking that I cannot do this, won't be able to do this. In fact, over and above that, I'm not good enough to manage this. I'm not good enough to complete this task. And this is very bad situation. Worst is feeling guilt about something. For example, if we critically if we are under guilt, what we do is we keep on focusing on ourselves. When I'm talking about focusing on ourselves, that means I'm talking about the feelings we have. We keep on searching negative things in ourselves. Then we look for the opinions of others also. Okay, what he is thinking about me, why he such things about me, that means he must be finding fault in me. And in this case, our body's response is not good. We have the mixed response what we have in case of fear, anger, and sadness, like sweating, racing heart, rapid breathing, feeling empty, numb, everything. And then we start hiding from things. We start hiding from people. That is also not a good situation. Then we have a better situation of feeling happiness, feeling when we are in the condition of joy. We start thinking fast and we focus on positive. You must have observed, whenever we are happy, we see positive in everything. In every negative thing we can find positives, but if we are feeling happy, because our body is energized, we can see everything, every good thing. And then we approach each and every person, and then we approach each and everything, because we are under the feeling of joy. The best condition is of containment, when we feel full of everything. Here we focus on movement. We do not worry about future. We do not crib about our past, and we are now calm and relaxed. That is the best situation, and we try to stay in that moment, or I should say, we try to stay in that work. Now, we were already struggling with so many emotions. Some of us were having problems with our jobs. Some of us were having problems with our family, and most of us were having problems with family and our work, both the things. And we were actually struggling to manage these emotions or overcoming these emotions. Then suddenly we have this COVID-19 issue, and everything is changed. If we think about our past, if we think about previous things, you must be remembering that we were actually cribbing for giving time to our family, working from home, and spending time with our family members, doing house shows in a better way. And overnight, things have changed. We are with our family members. We are at home. We are not. We cannot go out. Previously, we didn't want to carry our laptops to our home. Now we have everything. We have to connect with others is our laptop or our phone only. So all the emotions are actually different thing, different settings. Whatever we were experiencing earlier has increased manifold because of this, and our emotions are under the worst condition ever, and it has actually affected our work-life balance. So the main problems which arose due to lockdown were, or I should say shelter in place, because nowadays I don't think that we are facing lockdown, but we are at our home. In most of the cases, we are not supposed to report at work, we are not going at work, we are working from home. So the first problem which came out because of that, this is of physical health. See, if we go out, it becomes mandatory that we have to walk this much, we have to work this much, and somehow we are able to do some exercises. Now we are confined to our home. Then come to this business and educations. Most of the businesses are losing hope, are losing money, and the people who are associated with these businesses, the people who are working for these businesses are also worried what would happen to their jobs. Similarly with education, I think most of us are from educational background, and I don't think in these many months that we could deliver our best, because we are not actually uh, trained for these kind of situations. We did not go for this online teaching and everything in the past. We were in the physical classrooms, and we still miss those classrooms. And then the worst thing is mental health and emotional well-being. You must say, or might think that we are our family and we were missing our family very much. Then where's the problem with this mental health and emotional well-being? As I have told earlier also, that we are not actually trained for this situation. For so many years we were rushing for our job, work, for shopping, for socializing. We didn't have time for us, didn't have time for our family, we didn't have time for our house. But now we have times, we have everything at our home only. This has created imbalance in prioritizing our work. If we talk about work, I mean job. That means working for your job, working for your career progression, and the worst, now we are working to justify our salary, just to prove that how much efficient am I at working at home, so that our boss is happy with us. And if we talk about life is actually about our lifestyle, our family, relatives, our house, everything. So we are now somewhere in between work at home and work for your job from home. So this pandemic has actually brought us something which we have never experienced before. So it has magnified these struggles, what we were already facing. Now it has actually drawn us to isolation, anxiety, and under immense pressure. Whether we say it explicitly or not, we all are fearing that there might be worse situations related to our job, related to our health. There can be worse situations. And in these cases, emotional deregulation is obvious, which is actually a psychological difficulty, and we should take care of such things. So what this COVID-19 has brought us is, once considered as a perk, now considered as a punishment, specifically with those people who are having toddlers or small children, because they do not understand that why their mother and or father are at home and they are not talking to us, why they are busy with laptops for the whole day. So irrespective of your career stage, you may be CEO of some company, you may be vice president of some company, or you may be a beginner. You are in the, when you are working from home, you'll have distractions. See what happens if we are working from home, somebody will come to find out something. And what we do, if we are working, suppose we are writing a letter for, or drafting a letter for our organization's work, and somebody is asking, okay, have you seen that particular pen I kept here? And what happens? We start thinking about that pen. And that particular pen took at least 15 to 20 minutes of our time and our mind. And we got distracted. And we forget what we were writing, what thoughts we were having. So this is very difficult situation. So as we started working from home, just a second, during the crisis of COVID-19, the issue of work-life balance has emerged as one of the most important issue. I know this issue was prevailing earlier also, but then it was not considered as that big issue. Why? because since we are working from home since so many months, now we have realized that it is not easy to work from home. When we go to our job, then we have a system, we have an environment where we are into job. We are talking about different things related to organization. We are meeting different people who are working in the organization, and we have a table, chair, or files, everything which are actually related to our organization. But when we are at home, it is very difficult to work in separation and distractions from family, children, responsibilities of home. And the most important thing is, when we are working from home, work never ends. You must have experienced that we keep on working for the whole day for our job, for our home, but work never ends. It is there always. It is all present always. If we work for the whole day or for the whole night, work will not end. And this actually this because we have pressurizing ourselves. It is self-inflicted pressure to prove that I can work from home in a best way, in the efficient way, to just to say that I am justifying my salary. So please do not cut my salary, or to make our boss happy. So ever since our home has become our office, it is actually a perplexing thing. We are not able to separate these two things. It requires more self-control, more self-discipline, so that we do not surrender to disruptions or lose energy and impetus to work. We need to understand how to manage this. So here, if we talk about work from home, the principles of work-life balance will also be applicable to the situation of work from home. There are few tips to manage this work from home concept. We should take care of these things. First of all, set yourself up for success. Have believe in yourself. Decide your what you want to achieve, and decide how you want to do it, and then be determined that you will succeed. Not now, then sometime you will definitely succeed. Once you have this feeling, you will be able to give your if not 100%, then at least 80 to 90%. And then the most important thing is, establish your routine. What happens when we go to our offices, we have a set or definite routine, and along with ourselves, our family members are also actually, they are also trained for this. They are also accustomed of that culture, that will wake up at 6 in the morning, will actually complete our house chores, and then we'll leave for our office maybe at 9 or maybe at 10, whatever may be the case. Then we have an established routine. But now the routine has disturbed, and our family members are also taking it as a liberty. If we are at home, they are considering it as liberty. See, the person is at home, we can ask for so many things from him, we can ask for so many favors from him. So we have to establish this routine. We have to communicate them also to work, and I have to be at my table for this period of time. And then practice self-care. We have been actually ignoring ourselves for so many years. Now we have got time to take care of ourselves. I'm not talking about taking care of your beauty or your looks. I'm talking about taking care of your inner self. You have to be more strong now. And we have this time to understand ourselves. I think after so many days of working from home, or after so many days of lockdown, we all must have experienced that there are three things which are actually most important, which are basic things: food, clothing, and shelter. And clothing doesn't mean that there should be full of, it should be full of almirah. We are not actually using those clothes now. So the most important thing is taking care of your food, clothing, and shelter. Shelter we have, we are at our home, we have clothes, and we are having facilities of eating and everything. So we know that we have basic things. Now we should take care of ourselves. We should take care of our inner self. If we are strong, we would be able to deliver good for our family and for our organization both. And then increase communication. Please talk to people. If you are feeling sad, if you are feeling low, communicate with others. Tell them that you are not feeling good. It will help you. If you are feeling angry, if you are feeling if you are under guilt, please tell them, tell it to others. They will help you to overcome that guilt. And if you are feeling happy, then also share your joy with others so that they also feel happy. So we need to increase communication. And there is a very good thing in this. You can increase communication. You can start writing names of 20 people whom you felt that they were very good with you in your during the course, and then think good about themselves, what good they have done to you, and then start talking to them. Believe me, you'll feel much better, because you are talking to those people about whom you are having good feeling. So please increase communication. And one most important thing is, set your priorities clearly. That means you must know, okay, you must know what work should be done on the priority basis, whether it is home or your job. There might You have to be flexible enough. There may be possibility that you might be working for 10 to 2 in a day, and then 4 to 7 you can take a break as per the requirement of your family. So the real challenge, just a moment, real challenge is to manage to work from home is strive for work life fit in place of working from home or work life balance. And we have to flexible enough, as I have already said. We have to plan our weekly activity. And the most important thing I want to appeal to everyone is, please be kind to yourself. It may be because we are new to all these situations, you must be taking time to get accustomed of these things. Please be kind to yourself. Don't have a guilt or don't feel sad if you are not able to do it. You will be able to do it. Or earlier also we were not able to manage each and everything, so it's okay if we are not able to manage it right now also. So please be kind to yourself. Please go away from your routine habit of being perfectionist, and give due consideration to your emotions. So as the moderator has reminded me that I don't have much time, and I have also completed. Sorry for if I have taken more time. Thank you so much. This is all from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. It was wonderful to hear from you. Emphasized how it's important to manage your emotions in work-life balance. Without taking much time, I'll go on to our next speaker for today is Dr. Daisy. Dr. Daisy is an associate professor at the School of Management, Universiti, Sains, Malaysia. The areas of interest are in human resource management, organizational behavior, work values, leadership, entrepreneurship, and psychosocial safety climate. She holds a PhD in business and management from International Graduate School of Business, University of South Australia. Dr. Daisy is presently an active academician and researcher supervising numbers of MBA, MA, and PhD candidates with working experience across diverse industries. She has published good number of papers in various index journals. I request now Dr. Daisy to present her views on the topic.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh, for your kind introduction. And good morning to everyone. Allow me to present to you. Before this, can you see the slide?
Yes, Dr.
You can see the
Daisy, we're
slide.
able to see it. Yes.
Thank you for your confirmations. Okay, good morning to everyone. Allow me to present to you the driving factors of readiness for Industry 4.0 among manufacturing SME in Malaysia. Okay, so I would like to talk about the background of the study. Industry 4.0 offer both opportunity and challenges to manufacturing SME. And in the case of Malaysia, the national policy has actually urged manufacturing SME in Malaysia. There is a need for them to actually embrace Industry 4.0 in order to remain competitive in global supply chain. And we are aware that digital transformations towards Industry 4.0 is crucial. However, little is known about the extent to which manufacturing SME are ready to embrace Industry 4.0. It is very important for our manufacturing SME to understand And also, are they actually ready? Because attempts to implement new technology or new process or new change in the organization often fail when there is no proper preparations or readiness. Hence, there is a need to actually understand the current readiness of manufacturing SME in Malaysia and what are the actual factors that drive our SME readiness for Industry 4.0. And this needs has led to two important research questions. First, how ready are Malaysian manufacturing SME for Industry 4.0? The second key research questions, what are the actual factors that would drive manufacturing SME to be ready for Industry 4.0? And the study actually has 5 research objectives. First is to explore the readiness of Malaysian manufacturing SME for Industry 4.0. Second, to understand the impact of SME organizational capability in terms of finance and technology on their readiness for Industry 4.0. Third, to understand the impact of institutional support in terms of finance and technology on SME readiness for Industry 4.0. Fourth is to understand the impact of perceived advantages in terms of 2 dimensions, potential benefits and market opportunities on SME readiness for Industry 4.0. And last is to understand the impact of market factors based on customer needs as well as competitive pressure on SME readiness for Industry 4.0. This is the proposed research framework with 4 independent variables, namely there are perceived advantages, organizational capabilities, market factors, and institutional support. And readiness for Industry 4.0 is the dependent variable of the study. I would like to show you the SME landscape of Malaysia, and the context of the study is actually on the manufacturing SME in Malaysia. As you can see in the slide, a total of 98.5% of business establishment in Malaysia are SME. Of these, over 3/4 are micro enterprises and 1/5 of them are small enterprises, and medium enterprises only comprise of 2.3%. If we look at the SME by sector, manufacturing sector is the second largest sector after servicing sector. And 1/5 of our SME are actually owned by women entrepreneurs. And let's move on to the characteristic of Malaysian SME. In general, 83% of the respondents are using some form of ICT too. For example, nearly 2/3 of them are having smartphone, tablet, are using computer and laptop. Over half of them are using internet services. Only 1/5 of them actually on company website. And 44% of the SME in Malaysia are owned by family business, and 7% are actually young enterprise. And I would like to quote the definitions given by Malaysia SME Corp, Malaysia SME Corporations for manufacturing SME. So in terms of micro enterprises, the sales turnover less than 300,000. As for small enterprises in manufacturing sector, the sales turnover ranging from 300,000 to less than 50 million. And for medium enterprises, the sales turnover are less than 50 million. Okay, Industry 4.0 concept. Allow me to quote the definitions by MITI, Malaysia Ministry of International and Trade Industry. This is how they actually define Industry 4.0. So Industry 4.0 is a production or manufacturing-based industry digital transformation driven by connected technology. Industry 4.0 introduces smart factory in which cyber physical system monitor real-time physical process of the factory and can make the decentralized decisions. And my definitions for Industry 4.0 is a digitally transforming the manufacturing process by using smart self-correcting system and real-time data to enhance the efficiency, productivity, product quality, as well as accessibility of productions data for business growth. Readiness for Industry 4.0 in this study is measured in terms of 3 dimensions: managerial readiness, operational readiness, and technological readiness. So managerial readiness refers to readiness in terms of management commitment towards digital transformations, their priority and the plans in place. Operational readiness is readiness in terms of financial, human resources, process, and infrastructure. Technological readiness is readiness in terms of technical knowledge, the skill of the staff, and readiness for the machine, as well as system. The first independent variable of the study is organizational capability. I conceptualize organizational capabilities in terms of 2 dimensions: financial capability and technological capability. So financial capability is a firm's financial ability to invest in operational resources, such as funding, HR, and infrastructure required for digital transformations. Whereas technological capability refers to a firm's ability to respond to, learn, and adopt new technology for digital transformations. The second independent variable is institutional support. I have 2 dimensions. One is financial support and technological support. So financial support refers to the support received from government or institutions in terms of funding, grants, and financial incentive to help technological transformations, whereas technological support refers to support received from government or institutions in terms of technical advice, guidance, training, program, services to enhance technological capability required for technological transformations. Perceived advantages. There are 2 dimensions. Perceived benefits refers to potential benefits of adopting new technology perceived by organizations as beneficial and advantageous to their operation or business growth. Perceived opportunity refers to potential opportunity of creating new markets or new distribution channels or new customer by adopting new technology, and it is actually perceived by the firm as beneficial advantages to their operations or business growth. Market focus has 2 dimensions as well. It actually refers to customer needs as well as competitive prices. So customer needs is customer preference or requirement for features, functions, attributes, and standard of the products that they purchase or they get from the suppliers. Competitive pressures refers to the pressure felt by a firm due to the threat of its competitor possible move towards the new technology, which is a competitive advantage to attract new customer. And now I would like to present the demographic of the respondents. A total of 110 manufacturing SME was surveyed. And as you can see in the slide, that over half of the surveyed respondents, there are small enterprises, and 1/3 of them is medium enterprises. As for the number of staff, we can see over half of them have 50 employees or less, and the other 1/4, they have staff between or ranging 51 staff to 100 employees. As for the firm age, nearly half has established in the market between 11 to 20 years, and another close to 1/3 has 10 years of establishment in the business or less. All right, let's move on to the sector. So majority of them were actually from E&E. There's about over 1/5. From another 16.4% comes from iron, steel, and metal sector. And the respondent survey were actually from 3 major states in Malaysia that were from Selangor, Perak, as well as Penang state. Those who actually responded to the survey, they were the business owner or managers. And we can see that the owners or manager, they have good education background, and over 80% of them actually have diploma, degree, and masters. I would like to present to you the results of the survey. As we can see, the readiness for Industry 4.0 overall for manufacturing SME, we achieve more than half have moderate readiness and another 35% are in high readiness. So this is actually a good sign for manufacturing SME in Malaysia, that they have some sort of plans and they are considering Industry 4.0 and they are ready. And in terms of readiness by dimensions, we can see that for management commitment, manufacturing SME in Malaysia are very high. Over half of them are actually in high readiness, in managerial readiness, as compared to operational readiness as well as for technological readiness. So the study has 24 hypotheses and 11 hypotheses out of 24 hypotheses receive support. And the result has actually demonstrated the important driving factors for 4.0 readiness. So in order for our manufacturing SME to adopt this Industry 4.0 readiness, they must have some form of financial capability, and financial support as well as for technological support are critical for manufacturing SME, because Industry 4.0 adoptions comes with a cost, and usually it is kind of heavy investment. And as for another key important driver factors for Industry 4.0 readiness is perceived benefits. So the manufacturing SME must be convinced to adopt Industry 4.0. If they view that adoptions of Industry 4.0 is beneficial and advantageous to their operations, such as the Industry 4.0 can help them in terms of cost saving, in terms of improving the process and operations efficiency, or even to help them to, in terms of the defect identifications and defect preventions via the real-time machine data analysis. So they must be convinced to see the benefits. And that will actually help the manufacturing SME to actually move on towards Industry 4.0 adoptions. And the last factor is customer needs. If they have customer that require the manufacturing SME to actually adopt Industry 4.0, so they will actually consider Industry 4.0 adoptions, because they might afraid to lose the customer if they don't adopt the Industry 4.0 Industry 4.0 or digital transformations. So here comes my last slide. My recommendations to government as well as the policymaker. So in order to actually help our manufacturing SME, so I would like to recommend that we must have the right environment, we must have the right digital infrastructures, and we must actually ensure there is an access for our manufacturing SME to digital infrastructure, as well as to enhance their technological capability. So we must ensure there is the right digital infrastructure, there are access. So I would like to recommend, so what we actually can do is to actually come up with the first smart SME city, which is equipped with smart manufacturing through ICT and cyber physical system, and design a smart and lean supply chain for SME. It also means that this smart SME city will be the one-stop center, or the what we call the supply chain hub, even for SME, even for the local large company, as well as for MNC. Okay, so apart from the right digital infrastructures, we should also look at support, because we know that support is very critical to help our manufacturing SME, because support is definitely needed to boost the speed of the reactions among manufacturing SME in Malaysia. So what I'm proposing is to come up with a financial support Industry 4.0 program. Of course, this is funding is to provide funding to those companies that who would like to go for Industry 4.0 adoptions. And this funding will implement KPI, the key performance indicator, with the focus on the digital innovation success to monitor the progress of the manufacturing SME. So apart from financial program Industry 4.0, we can actually come up with technological support Industry 4.0 program. And this technological support is to provide, where we can actually have institutions or even government to sponsor digital innovation hub. And this hub will be a place or a platform for our manufacturing SME to use the advanced technology via the pay-per-use basis. All right. So apart from support, people are important because we know the real problem is a lack of digital skill. So there are two groups of people that we should focus. I would like to talk about. One is the tertiary or university student, because they are the potential, or they are the future employees. So they should be equipped with the digital skill. Then another group of people that we should focus is the existing workforce. So we must ensure that the existing workforce, they are actually equipped with the digital skill. So here I would like to recommend is to upskilling the human capital via education, training, and development. And hence I'm proposing we should have two type of program. One is digital tech tertiary program, that is with the purpose to train our university students with digital skill, and digital technology talent program or development is meant for equipping the existing workforce with digital skill. And lastly, I always believe that it is good to give a person fish, but it is more important to provide the person with the know-how part. That is how to catch a fish. So it's essential for manufacturing SME to know the know-how, because I believe there are many manufacturing SME. They are so interested, they are aware of Industry 4.0 and how Industry 4.0 can actually help them in terms of better process and also operation efficiency. But they are struggling because they do not know the know-how part. So I would like to propose we should have a mentor program, and we can name or term this mentor program as Industry Expert Program, whereby we can get those companies, be it they are SME or be it they are the LLC, large local companies, or be it they are MNC, as long as they are creative, innovative, and they are successful in the implementations of Industry 4.0 adoptions. Here, I would like to provide one of the success local large company, who actually come up with a V1 project that helps in the journey of digital transformation. So they have actually helped the customer to implement this V1 project and help them in terms of the journeys towards digital transformations. So I would like to share the video.
Request, ma'am, if you could show the video for 2 minutes, because we have already overshot a lot of time. It's 9:45.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rajesh.
So.
So one of the important key elements for Industry 4.0 is to have machine-to-machine communications, and we can say there is a revolution in the manufacturing industry, and this V1 project is actually a platform towards the smart manufacturing and Industry 4.0. So you can see that they're using the real-time data monitoring as well as analysis. Okay, they use it from every department, from procurement until the people management. Okay, so as requested by the moderator, Dr. Rajesh, so that is the end of my presentations. Thank you so much. So I will stop sharing. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Daisy. Presentation where you have mentioned about how you looked into how Malaysian industries are ready for Industry 4.0. We already have few members from the chat box who appreciated your presentation. Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to our next speaker for the day is Dr. Ingy Selim. Dr. Ingy Selim is currently working as a teaching assistant at the Arab Academy for Science, Technology and Maritime Transport located in Egypt. Ingy finished the bachelor's degree in 2012 from the College of Management and Technology in the Marketing and International Business. She had enrolled in the Graduate School of Business from 2012 till 2015 in the HRM field at the Arab Academy for Science, Technology and Maritime Transport. Her topic for master's thesis was work-life balance. Over to you.
Hello, thank you, Dr. Rajesh. Thank you for this intro. I'll share the screen. Please let me know if it's visible for you.
Yes.
Yes, it's visible, Dr. Ingy.
Thank you, Dr. Roche. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm really happy to be part of this webinar. Hope you're all staying safe and sound. Today, I'll be talking about work-life balance as a concept. Please have a quick look on the table of contents. At first, I'm going to discuss the history of work-life balance. Work-life balance programs are not considered recent, and they existed in early years, such as in the 1930s, but they were not recognized at that time by everyone. But one of the most important companies that recognized the importance of work-life balance and supported them was WK Kellogg Company, that created some flexible work hour shifts for their employees to replace the daily traditional working hours. Of course, implementing those flexible hour arrangements increased the efficiency among employees and morale as well. After that, in 1977, the first book that talked about the concept of work-life balance was released by Rosa Bith. The title of the book was Work and Family in the United States, a Critical Review and Agenda for Research and Policy. Of course, when this book was released, the issue of work-life balance was raised, and also it brought it in the forefront of organizations and researchers as well. And finally, during the 1980s and 1990s, some organizations officially began to implement the work-life programs. But the first waves of implementation was only directed for families or mothers with children. That's why it was called work-family programs. But after that, until now, majority of programs are dedicated for everyone, not only for individuals who have family obligations. Moreover, in order to talk more about the concept of work-life balance, we have to mention that when you read papers in work-life balance, many of you will find that authors are using the term work-family balance interchangeably with work-life balance. Many authors are consider these two terms are synonym, although they are not synonym. And we have to mention that work-life balance is more frequently used because it includes all aspects of human's life, such as his work, his family, and all his other obligations. Moving to the definition of work-life balance, also when you read many articles in work-life balance, you will find lots of definitions in the literature. But till that moment, there is no agreement on universal definition. Despite that, the definition, all definitions of work-life balance are referring to the harmonization between work and life. Today's definition that's chosen for today's topic is defined by Har in 2013. It refers to work-life balance as the extent to which an individual is able to adequately manage the multiple roles in their life, including their work, family, and other obligations. This definition was chosen today for two reasons. The first reason, it's not gender specific, and the second reason, it includes all major responsibilities of the individual, like his friends, his leisure time, vacations, sport, and everything. In order to conclude what we want to say about the concept of work-life balance, you have to understand the relationship between work and life, or work and family. Can have many names, such as work-family enrichment, work-family spillover, conflict integration, segmentation, accommodation, and work-family compensation. Moving to our third title, which is why work-life balance topic is important to be addressed. The first reason is the arisal of the COVID-19 and its impact on employees' work-life balance. Currently, the situation we're living in and the challenges we're facing have affected everyone, and most of the nations have shifted working from office to working from home. At the beginning of this decision, many people were really satisfied and happy because they thought they would be able to manage their work roles and family as well. But after a while, they found that it's nearly impossible to be able to work from home and having family and children, because at that time you found that the boundaries between work and life were going to diminish. The second reason why it's important to tackle work-life balance is the changes happening in demographics. Nowadays, majority of women are joining the labor market, and they are having the same responsibilities as men in work and responsibilities in home as well. This phenomena is known as dual career earners. Of course, joining women in the labor market has affected her ability to manage her work and life. The final reason why work-life balance is important is the downsizing the number of employees in organizations. There are two main reasons why we can downsize the number of employees. The first reason is the increase of automated jobs. The second reason is saving costs. Nowadays, we can find that majority, or I don't want to say majority, but many organizations, even including multinationals, are downsizing the number of employees in order to save costs, because the pandemic have affected the economy of the country and also affected the organization as a whole. Moving to some statistics, which was the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development is designed to promote the economic growth, prosperity, and well-being. All these is conducted through gathering some data from official sources such as United Nations and statistics. The OECD have provided us with work-life balance ranking among 40 organizations, among 40 countries in the late 2019. We found that Netherlands has the highest and the best work-life balance among its employees, while Colombia has the worst and the least work-life balance. These rankings were based on the ratio between working hours and the hours devoted for family and friends. Before moving to the comparison between Colombia and Netherlands, we have to say that the International Labour Organization, the ILO, stresses on the importance of working hours of the employees. And they mention that employees should not work more than 48 hours per week, because more than 38 hours are considered long working hours. Moving back to the comparison of Colombia and Netherlands, we will find that Colombia, the majority of employees, like average 27% of the employees are working more than 50 hours, which is considered very long. Unlike those for Netherlands, 0.4% only of the employees, according to the OECD, are working beyond 48 hours, which means that the majority of employees there in Netherlands are working less than 48 hours per week, which is considered good number of working hours. To understand more how Netherlands is achieving this balance and how it's satisfying the well-being of the employees, we can take a more closer look. We find that Netherlands is offering its employees flexible work arrangements according to their personnel or family needs. They offer them control over their working hours. Another reason why Netherlands have high work-life balance is that we can notice that many nations or many organizations in many countries just offer work-life balance programs for those who need it only, like especially if he needs it for family obligations, if he's a mother, father, or providing care for elder person. But this is not the case for Netherlands, because Netherlands is providing work-life balance programs despite of your family obligations. You might be having other obligations, even if they are personal obligations. You can use the work-life balance programs offered by your organization. Another study that's conducted by Cousins and Tang among a sample of 771, they found that the average working hours per week for females was 26 hours, mothers was 21.3 hours, also males 40.5 hours, and fathers were 41.7 hours. As you can see from these average working hours, you will find that all of them, despite their status, are working below the 48 average working hours per week, which means, or which confirms the idea that majority of the employees there are not working for longer hours. And finally, for Netherlands, Netherlands is promoting the idea of part-time work. And because of this, majority of females there in 2001 has reached 71% are working as part-timers. Of course, this maintained their well-being and their work-life balance issue. So in conclusion, for Netherlands case, we will find that Netherlands are achieving the best work-life balance because of the issue of working hours. Either they are providing them with flexible working hours, either they are providing them part-time jobs, or they are providing them all the necessities they need to be able to achieve their balance under the umbrella of working hours. But there are other factors that can affect employees' work-life balance in all nations, not just Netherlands, just such as teleworking, job stress, social support, job resources, elder dependency, unfair criticism, and job demands. All these factors and many more could affect any employee's work-life balance. So, how to enhance employees' work-life balance? There are three main factors. If combined all together, this will help an employee to achieve the work-life balance. It's the government, organization, and the individual himself. As for the government should profess some rules and regulations that support the idea of work-life balance. As for the organization, all organizations must understand that employees' work-life balance will maintain their well-being and also will affect the organizational success. If the organization understands this, then by default, all employers in the organization will try to help employees achieve their balance. So they are going to provide some practices and some programs. We say that these practices and these programs maintain employees' well-being and give them their autonomy. These practices, such as teleworking, on-site childcare, flexible schedules, job sharing, part-time worker, parental leaves, paid holidays, and more, of course. But we have to confirm that the availability of work-life balance programs and practices inside an organization is not a sufficient proof that the organization is implementing them, because you might find a lot of organizations having these policies and practices, but they are not implementing them on employees. So we must ensure that the organization is considered a family-friendly organization. We name this term as organizational work-life culture, which is defined as the individual's perception of the organization culture to support the employees to balance his work and life. What do I mean by this? I mean by this that the organization should also support the employees in terms of his management to use the work-life balance programs available and offered, and not only provide them, but encourage him or her to use it, and let them not to be afraid of being perceived as unloyal or not committed by the organization. And finally, for a way to enhance the work-life balance for employees is the individual himself. The individual should understand that work-life balance has three components: time balance, involvement balance, and satisfaction balance. As for the first component, the individual should understand that he should be able to balance between his time, between his family, and between his work as well. The second component is the involvement balance. The individual should understand the idea of balancing between being involved in aspects related to work and in aspects related to life as well. And finally, the satisfaction balance, where the individual should feel totally satisfied from being at work and totally satisfied from being with his family. So by these three factors, if the individual use these three factors, for sure he can be able to achieve the work-life balance. As for the practical implications, work-life balance would enhance the employees' well-being, increase job satisfaction, organizational commitment, citizenship behaviors, and as well as increase the morale, and effectively employees can get engaged with each other. And finally, two important aspects that I should conclude this presentation with, that everyone should understand that work-life balance is an ongoing process that will always change. So organizations should always provide new features, update their programs and practices according to employees' needs, because employees' needs are changing regularly. So we as an organization should provide also updates for the programs we are offering. And finally, organizations should differ in their work-life balance practices and policies offered depending on its employees' needs. So by this we mean that we might find organization X providing some policies and practices. Those programs are different from organization Y. Why they are different? Because each organization is trying to provide the needs that their employees need. Those are the references for the current PowerPoint. And thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, Dr. Ingy Selim. Very interesting study about work-life balance, and how it's so important. You rightly pointed out. People have this perception that when you're working from home, it is easier, but actually, the situation now is extremely difficult for all of us. And a very important, perspective about. Now, since we are real short of time and we have 5 panelists, I will request now each panelist to give their perspective in a shortest possible time. We start with Dr. Noor Nisa. Just mention about her profile. Dr. Noor Nisa is a senior lecturer, program head, postgraduate university at Bajpa University, UAE. She worked as assistant professor at Ahmad Islamic University, Islamabad. Dr. Noor holds a degree of PhD in Commerce Management Sciences from University of Sindh, Pakistan. Her research interest includes organizational behavior, employee engagement, employee HR practices, and HR analytics. Dr. Perspective on the topics, and you can, after that, you can put a question to a respective keynote speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Presentation was really nice, and the topic was really interested. But I don't have any question because you were so clear about your study and the findings that you have provided about a particular country, and that was really like a role model for us to capture their framework to implement in every organization in every country. So that's very interesting, and thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. I think there is nothing to discuss more. If you have any question, you can ask. Can you hear me? Hello?
I think Dr. Rajesh dropped out of the network.
Hello?
Oh, so AIBPM staff, can any one of us ask a question?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, Yolanda.
Okay, yes, Dr. Noor, she has no questions, so we can move to the second panelist, which is Dr. Varsha Ganatra.
It was a presentation by all 3 of them. The first one by Dr. Garima Mathur, where she touched upon a very important aspect, that is emotions, which we always neglect. And this is what we are affected today, especially connecting it to work-life balance. The second presentation by Dr. Daisy was also wonderful. She gave a 360-degree view relating to Industry 4 of SMEs in Malaysia. And the third presentation by Miss Ingy, where she specified about the work-life balance and the comparison between different countries. My question is to Miss Ingy, that what are the challenges which are faced by the service institutions which are operating 24/7, like the healthcare, security, BPOs, relating to work-life balance? And what would be the measures undertaken by the government, organization, as well as the individuals in maintaining the work-life balance?
Hello, Dr. Varsh. Thank you for your question. As for the service industries, of course, some such as hospitals are working for long working hours, and they are facing lots of work-family conflicts. So let's take the healthcare sector as an example. The challenges facing the healthcare sector might be, of course, the long working hours they spend at their hospital. Not just long working hours, but they are also working for odd hours. They should be on call 24/7, even during their vacation. Another thing is the increased workload, especially during these situations, during the pandemic we're facing. Physical stress, mental stress, and also their inability to manage between anything, to manage between their work issues and even to manage between their work and life aspects. Those are concerning the challenges. As for your second questions, as I said in my presentation, that to enable an individual, despite of his job, despite of the sector he's working in, to balance his work and life, the role of the government, a combination with the organization, individual himself, will be working very well in this situation. So for the government, they should always profess a lot of rules and regulations to support the idea of work-life balance to the nation and to the employees as a whole. Also, they should, maybe this is a suggestion, why not to have a database for all people working in the healthcare sector, either in private or public hospital, for example. And this database should include the personnel needs according to his obligations, either family or any other personal obligations. Maybe when the hospital or when the government know the needs of each and every person in the healthcare sector, they can provide them with the correct programs and policies. I know this suggestion might be time consuming and it might be difficult as well to collect all these data, but of course the well-being of our healthcare sector is very important, because if they are not feeling okay, if they are unhappy, if their emotions are not stable, of course they will not provide the best treatment for their patients. As for the organization, as I said, even the hospital should maintain a family-friendly organization. They should support all doctors and all nurses and everyone working in the healthcare to use the family-friendly policies offered by the organization. They should support the idea of job sharing, the idea of providing incentives if they are working for longer hours. And also the most important is to support the idea of work-life integration, which is very important to eliminate boundaries between work and life. Maybe this enables them to have a better work-life balance. As for the individual himself, I think the best two things, or as an example, maybe to put prioritize things. And the most important priority for the healthcare, especially nowadays, is their health and well-being. They should put it as their priority, because if they are not feeling okay, as I said, they will not be able to treat their patients. And majority of the doctors, we all know, they usually provide all the attention for their patients and ignore their health. So this is totally wrong for them. They should set their priorities. Also, they can believe in the idea of taking a break. Majority of healthcare sector, they believe that the responsibility is above all, and taking a break is not one of the options. But no, you have to take a break, you have to take a vacation, spend more quality time with your family, with your friends, and making sure that other colleagues are taking your responsibility. I hope that I provide sufficient answer for your question.
Yeah, thank you so much. You explained it very well. And taking the current pandemic situation, I think the
Yeah,
health sector is most important, which you touched upon. Thank you so
yeah.
much. I think all our
Thank you.
participants must have also understood regarding the same.
Thank you so much.
The next question can be taken up by any other panelist, please.
Dr. Rajesh is here. Hello, Dr. Rajesh.
I think he lost connection.
Okay, lost the connection. Panelist is Dr. Uma Warrier from CMS Business School, Jain, deemed to be University. Dr. Uma, you can start.
Thank you, Yolanda, so much. Happy morning, afternoon to all of you. I was keenly paying attention to the keynote speakers' discussions on the theme of the webinar. And Dr. Desi, Dr. Ingy, as well as Dr. Garima spoke very fluently about all what are to be discussed in their topics. But I have a different perspective towards, which caught my attention was work-life balance. So I have a different perspective. I thought I'll share that before asking a question. According to me, work-life balance as an organizational practice has come to the forefront in late 1980s. The increased number of women in the workforce and who had to juggle, like many of us, who will have to juggle between family and workplace responsibilities. So there is, how do we define work-life balance as absence of a conflict between personal and professional domain. There is no conflict. I think that I call a work-life balance, perfect work-life balance. And I look at work-life balance as a combination of 4 continuously interacting quadrants. That's personal, that is your own self, society, home, and your professional work. So as we all know, COVID-19 pandemic has brought a major shift in the quadrants for every one of us. We are either paying more attention to our work or any of the 4 quadrants what I mentioned. And which means to say that some quadrants are overpowering the other, creating an imbalance. I think that is what we need to address at this point in time. But then changes are inevitable. Hence, a wiser option would be to look at the quadrants to integrate them rather than just to balance them, is what my take. How did I get this thought? Is I just some time ago, I had read about this particular concept of work-life integration by Friedman, an award-winning Wharton Business School professor, and he's also a best-selling author. He spoke about how work-life integration can give rise to four-way wins, meaning to say the winning of yourself, your profession, home, and society. So we cannot probably ignore any of the 4 quadrants. So work-life integration is all about synergies and not about trade-offs, basically. So when you say balance, you will either compromise on a particular part of your 4 quadrants for the benefit of the other. Here we are talking about integration, where we take synergy, where 1 + 1 is more than 2. So that synergic effect is what we are considering when we are talking about work-life integration. So basically the spillover effect of work-life integration brings more positive outcome than a compromise. So I strongly recommend that work-life integration and not work-life balance should be adopted during COVID times. When the situation demands that we work from home, I think the line of demarcation between work and home just blurs. So you cannot probably have a stipulated work timing and home timing, and you need to integrate the basic dimensions of both work as well as family. We are actually left with no choice, right? So we need to integrate both. So how do we do? I think for all of us audience, it gives a chance to integrate our family members into different aspects of our professional life, and we probably can take help from them to do some of our professional demands, like sharing. For me, for an example, I take help from my husband, my children, for probably whatever are I conduct webinars, I conduct classes, so they may help me with giving their ideas or making a PPT. So that way, so they also get a chance to understand as a working woman I undergo in the workplace, and that also improves their empathy towards the work context, as well as the people at the workplace also look at us not only as an employee, as a member of a family. I think that improves empathy on both the fronts, from work as well as from home. And it gives an opportunity for even for a perfect person who's a perfectionist to understand that little less than perfection is okay. It's fine to be a little not perfect. So I want to conclude by saying that it is high time we get out of this mental model of work time and home time in silos, and we need to integrate. So I think that's my take. And I have a question for Dr. Garima. What are the implications of work for leadership during COVID time, especially when we are talking about working from remote? How do you ensure that remote working employees are engaged productively? So it's difficult for a leader to actually evaluate someone is working correctly to the productive benchmark, KPIs, which Dr. Davis was talking about. How do we ensure? How will a leader ensure that a person or employees who are working remotely are completely engaged? Dr. Garima.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Uma. Actually, you well said that it is all about creating work and life balance and taking integrate family with this. But when we talk about remote teams, I think we all are part of that team only, because nowadays we all are working from home and facing different issues. In my opinion, the leaders can do is they have to create a link with the members of their remote teams. For example, we are working here, and previously we were in touch with our colleagues. We used to communicate for different things. We could in fact say without even telephoning them, but now we are missing each and everything. So first of all, we need to create a network, we can say a social interaction platform for all the employees or all the members of the remote team. For example, if you are having WhatsApp groups, or there are other platforms as well, where we can keep our views or we can ask our questions freely to each and everyone or to the specific individual. So then there can be a concept of daily check-ins. Daily check-ins means whatever work has been assigned, we need to touch upon that. How much have you completed and how much is left, and when will you be able to complete. Other than this, very important thing is creating a social interaction between your team members, because right now we as colleagues we know each other, but there are chances that we might be part of some teams where we do not know each other. We are not actually associated with each other, and it becomes difficult to work in a team if we are not part of, do not know each other very well. Getting things done is actually very different or very difficult in these conditions. So in those cases, to bring your team members together, to create an association between them, we must introduce some social interactive programs. For example, there can be some games or some competitions which are actually informal or which are apart from your daily routine. So these are few things we can do, and some other things are offering them some incentives or something, offering or appraising them time to time if they are able to complete their work or efficiently. And the most important thing which you have also mentioned is talk to them or show empathy towards these people, because they are also facing many challenges. So I think I have answered your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much. Actually, I just got a message from Dr. Rajesh. There's some connection problem here with him. So I'm taking over. Is Dr. Ingy has spoken or not, the third keynote speaker?
All the keynote speakers have spoken. Only panelists will have to ask questions.
Okay, okay. And they were, so I think Dr. Varsha, Dr. Noor, Dr. Uma, Dr. Teoh and Ika have asked their questions. So any of the panelists who's left to ask questions, kindly.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Dr. Rudresh, Dr. Eka has to
Yes.
ask a question now.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Eka.
Thank you. Dr. Eka, please ask.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rudresh. Yeah, for all presenters, very nice, interesting presentation. I have a small question for Dr. Daisy. The question is how SMEs readiness to change in COVID-19 era, especially in service sector and in micro enterprises, because like you presented before, the mostly SMEs is in micro enterprises. Thank you, Dr. Daisy.
Thank you, Dr. Eka, for your questions. And as we are aware that SME is the backbone for economies of many nations, as well as we have seen ranging impact of the COVID-19 on our manufacturing SME, be it manufacturing SME or be it in micro enterprises or even in the service sectors, we can see the impact. There are many companies are shutting down due to COVID-19. People are losing jobs. Industry are suffering losses. And also there are many companies that who are actually at risk right now of closing their operations permanently. But at the same time, we are also witnessing that there are new growth at some sectors and a strong rise for the online business. For example, if we look at the food business, the servicing sectors, as well as delivery services, there are more. And even for the education institutions and sector, we can see that educations, they're coming out with programs using the virtual classroom. Even for the well-being and also for sport, they come out with what we call the online fitness classes. And for the entertainment industry in terms of online gaming, and we have this healthcare industry. We can see that more and more smart apps are being produced, as well as they come up with PPE. You are sure very familiar with PPE, the personal protective equipment being produced. And so we can see there is a strong rise in terms of the online business. And I can see that this COVID-19 pandemic has actually paved the way for SME, be it services, be it micro enterprises, or be it manufacturing SME, for them to actually digitalize their business. And this pandemic has actually shown us three things: that the opportunity to digitalize the business. So for SME, even for micro enterprises, they can see that this is the best opportunity for them to digitalize. And also the importance of digitalizing their business, because under the new normal, be it whether they like it or not, they need to think of a new way of dealing with their customer, because during the lockdown, during the movement control orders, offices are closed down. Employees cannot go into the workplace. They are asked to work from home. And business are interrupted in terms of their business and as well as supply interactions. So they need to actually think of new ways. So they are aware of they are forced, I would say they are forced to learn, even though they are not prepared, but they are forced to learn a new way in serving the customer, in dealing with the customer. So the third things that many SME has actually learned is to actually build a new distribution channel to serve their customer. Yeah, that is my answer. Thank you, Dr. Eka. And also would like to address Aisha. Aisha actually asked me one question. It's about, let me check in the chat group. She has asked, yeah. Where is Aisha?
Can I read it out for you, Daisy?
It's okay.
I will read it out for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prof. Okay, so she has one question for me. The main obstacle in managing big data 4.0 is human resources. I totally agree with you. And what kind of human resource competency can actually explore this field? So as I mentioned in my diagram, you can see my recommendations to the government as well as the policy maker. People are very important, and what we actually lack is the digital skill. So we must actually ensure that there are two types of people that are being equipped with the digital skill. One is the university student, another one is the existing workforce. And what the organization are looking for is the people analytic as, because they believe that people analytic is a competitive advantage. And it's not just as a competitive advantage, it's very important for the organizations to develop and train their staff in the big data analytic and also their digital skills, so that they are able to make it as a part of the operations and the cultures of the organizations. So leverage the people analytic. Yeah, that's my answer. I hope I have answered your questions.
Yes,
Thank
you. Thank you, Dr. Daisy. I would like to request all the participants also, you can put your questions if there are any questions. We can take maybe 1 or 2 questions. You can put your questions in the chat box. Thank you, Professor Abhishek, for the praises that you have. Okay, there's a question, ma'am, from Dr. Abhishek. If COVID-19 can lead to more global opportunities in terms of human resource planning. So I think he wants to know more on human resource planning with COVID opportunities. I hope this question was for Daisy.
Okay, yes, I would like to
I have Dr. Rajesh also who has joined. So welcome back, Dr. Rajesh. You can take over, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rajesh. And as for Professor Abhishek has the questions and asks if COVID-19 can lead to more global opportunity in terms of the human resource planning. I believe because of the COVID-19, definitely COVID-19, be it whether it may disappear or may not disappear, I'm sure that the effect of COVID-19 was there with us for quite some time. What actually happened is it has actually bring an effect to the human resource planning. For example, let's look at the existing HR practices. We used to, hire people with the conventional way, means that we must actually meet the person, face to face. But because of the COVID-19, that things has changed. That company are actually more open for hiring online, so people can be hired online even for the training. So instead of having the physical training, now company are very much open to have online training for their staff. Even some companies before COVID-19, some of the companies are actually open for flexi working hours, working from home, but not many companies are actually supporting of this idea. A lot of companies are still actually requesting the staff to actually work physically in the office. But after COVID-19, what we actually see, do you know that companies like Google and Facebook, they just made an announcement that their employees do not need to come to office until 2021. So we have actually learned that many jobs can be done remotely. So many companies are realizing that, hey, my employees can actually work from home. So you can see changes in terms of the management perspective. I'm sure that in the future, more companies more open and supportive of employees to go for flexi hours to work from home, because they also understand that people are productive even working from home. Yeah, I hope I answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, I have Dr. Derek who's left, who has not asked in the panel. So I invite Dr. Derek kindly.
Thanks, Professor Abhishek. I'll introduce Dr. Derek to everyone. Dr. Derek is a lecturer from the School of Education and General Studies, Central College, Penang. He has obtained his first degree in Applied Statistics, Master's degree in Statistics, and PhD in Organizational Behavior and Development from Universiti Sains, Malaysia. He has 11 years of teaching experience in higher learning institutions. Over to you, Dr. Derek.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh, and thank you, Dr. Rajesh, and thank you to all the keynote speakers, Dr. Garima, Dr. Daisy, as well as Dr. Ingy, for the insightful sharing. So I have a questions for any of the three speakers. So I have a concern, like with the implications of COVID-19, there are actually more workload to be handled, which directly and indirectly affect the emotion as well as the work-life balance among the employee across the different industry. So this is greatly affecting those from education industry, because we need to deliver through online platform as well. So hence, what mechanism should the management of their organization implement to address the emotion and work-life balance issues among the employee? And also, as an employee, what can be done to ensure a favorable emotion at work, as well as having a balanced work life? Yeah, that's my question to any of the speakers. Thank you.
Should I answer this? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me take your questions. Very good question in this regard, because we all are from education industry, I suppose, or most of us are from education industry, and we all are facing the problems of work and life balance and then work from home concept. But then in this case, if we talk about managing things at our place, so your second question is what emotions we should show as employee. I think we need to our productivity, that we are working from home much higher than previously we were working. Okay, so this will create our positive image in the industry, in the organization, and they will consider us as the sincere employee. That's what they were looking for, or earlier also. With respect to the organization, I would like to state two things, that they have to focus on two things: acceptance and assurance. Acceptance is of the situation that we are in right now. Acceptability of that that their employees might be facing various difficulties while working from home, managing different things, managing their emotions, so they might not be in very good state. That need to be accepted. And while assuring, they need to communicate that organization is with them. They have to show empathy. They have to show that through their behavior, like by not cutting their salary to their accounts at a definite time, and in addition to that, they can offer other benefits program as well. Like if they can offer some incentives, not in terms of money only. There can be different things like appreciating them, appraising them, and or by giving some extra holidays or the work offs. Although we are working from home, but then it doesn't mean that we can avail holidays. In fact, we are working on Sundays also. So in that case, organization can show empathy towards their employees. And in addition to this, they have to interact them unofficially also. Like I have said earlier also, we have to create a social interaction platform where we can talk upon freely, we can communicate with each other freely, so that we feel that we are still part of this organization.
Yes.
So that's from my side. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Garima. We have one question in the chat box. Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine. Yes, so we have one question in the chat box from Suvarna. How the HR will evaluate the productivity of HR? So, can you clarify, Suvarna, what exactly?
This question
from Suvarna. Hello.
You want me to answer this question, or are you waiting for Suvarna to ask this question or elaborate the question?
No, she has not elaborated yet. So I feel, one of you can, who would like to answer it? She's asking how the HR will evaluate the productivity of HR.
Okay, so I'll answer this. In terms of productivity, if we're talking about, it goes differently for different people from different departments. Like we cannot compare manufacturing units with the service industry. So I'll be focusing upon service industry. Specifically, if we talk about education industry, here we are not getting any targets to complete, but then we have classes, we have different schedules, we have to organize webinars, we have to manage other things, we have to complete our administrative task also. So here it has become easier even to assess the productivity. Earlier what used to happen is we were there in the organization from 9 to 6, and that was considered as sufficient enough to justify that, see, I'm here in the organization, so I must be working, whether I'm working actually or not. So here is now in this virtual world, it has become easy, because now you have to deliver, you have to work upon that particular area, whatever work has been assigned to you. So I think it has become easier to assess the productivity. That's all from my side. Anyone wants to add to this? You can.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Garima. I would like to add my insight to these questions. And as for, it's a very good questions, Prof, that you asked about, the human resource planning in the education sector. Well, I believe it's not only in India, but also in many parts of the world, there is definitely implications of COVID-19. I would say from the bright side of COVID-19, that now hiring can be actually do it online, and what actually happened is we can get talent from any parts. If employees are not required to actually work into the office, are not required to be at office physically, it also means that company like Google can hire you and me or anyone from any place of the world. It also can be applicable to education. They can get expert from anywhere, and they can get talent from any parts of the world. And what actually happens to the people who are viewed as the talent, they do not need to apply for visa. They do not need to relocate. They do not need to immigrate. They can just work from where they are. So I see this is a good thing for the in terms of productivity, and it's not about physical attendance. I always believe that physical attendance to some companies is very critical and essential, but I always believe that there are many jobs can be done remotely. So it's about the output of the employee. So the HR should actually focus on the KPI, especially in the educations. If the staff can deliver KPI set by the university, why not? They work from home. And I'm sure that working from home is very productive for those employees that who are able to meet the KPI. As long as they can meet their KPI, yeah, I believe it actually enhances the productivity of the education sector. Yeah, that's my insight. Yeah, thank you.
Can I add something, Dr. Derek? I also want to talk about that for an organization to evaluate the productivity of the employee during the current situation we're living in, they should first identify how the employees are familiar with the concept of teleworking, because some organizations are familiar to work from home, such as IT company examples, while other organizations like the educational sector, they are not familiar at all with the idea of working from home. So before measuring the productivity or assessing the productivity of the employees, we should put into consideration the level of awareness of the employees regarding their capabilities of working from home. Because of course, working from home for people who are not familiar with this concept will increase the role ambiguity. And if role ambiguity increases, this will affect, of course, their productivity. So this should be taken into consideration before measuring the productivity of the employees. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Anybody would like to ask questions or
Dr. Rajesh, I also would like
Yes.
to provide my view to Dr. Derek questions regarding work-life balance. And for me, I would see that COVID-19 pandemic has actually provide an opportunity for people to actually to spend more time with their family, because work-life balance is talking about the balance between work as well as between work as well as their personal life. So we can see that when the COVID-19 actually hit us, that many people actually drove out from the big city and back to their home, spend their time with their family. So I would see that, you know, they get to know their children, they get to know their parents, they get to know every of their family members even more. So I would say that it actually helped to improve the work-life balance. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you. I
Yeah,
hope.
thank you, Dr. Daisy. Wonderful to have all the keynote speakers and the panelists. The webinar has gone more than 2 hours, so thanks for your patient listening, all the participants. We had a wide perspective of thoughts, starting from Dr. Garima, who spoke about managing emotions while working from home during lockdown, where she mentioned how we need to manage our emotions well, which can have an impact on our mind, body, and behavior. And she also emphasized the problems which could arise due to on physical health, business and education, mental health, and emotional well-being. Okay, and she emphasized the aspect about self-control and self-discipline. Then we have Dr. Daisy, who gave an excellent presentation about how Malaysian industries are, whether they are ready for industry 4.0. She took a sample size of around 110 SMEs, and she did a thorough research which was appreciated even from the participants. So thank you, Dr. Daisy, for bringing out the wonderful perspective about with respect to whether Malaysian industries are ready for industry 4.0, and which is very relevant in today's scenario. Then we have Dr. Ingy, who spoke about work-life balance. This is something which is, we all are grappling with work-life balance. And today I've been facing a lot of technological issues, right from the morning. So, so I can understand how it, when you are in the bad end of technology. So, so that's work-life balance. So looking into work-life balance, she emphasized the importance of how it's important. She took a very interesting study with respect to Colombia and Netherlands, and how Netherlands has been found to be very good in work-life balance. The importance of work-life balance, she emphasized how it has increased because of automated jobs and it's saving cost. And she looked into right from government organization employees, all these practical implications. And we had all the 5 panelists who gave their perspective about the topic. So thank you very much for patient listening, and thanks a lot. That's from my end. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajesh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajesh and Dr.
I
Rajesh.
think we can have a photograph too.
Yes, we can have a photograph. No, we can. And I
Yes,
request all
please
the
turn your cameras on.
yeah, please turn the cameras on, and request the participants to be on start their videos. Dana, please let us know when we are ready. When you're ready for the shoot, please.
Yeah, okay. We are still waiting for the participant to open the camera.
Okay. Dana, would you like to say something about the next webinar?
Yes, after the photo session, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, please. Yes. Okay, I am taking your photos. Okay. Okay.
Are we done with the photograph? Hello?
Hello, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
it's finished now.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Diana. Thank you all the keynote speakers, Dr. Garima, Dr. Daisy, and Dr. Ingy for your excellent inputs on the topic on HR, OB, leadership, and work-life balance. And thank you all the panelists. And sorry for the inconvenience from my side, because of some technical issues, I could not join in between. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, AIBPM staff, for a wonderful cooperation and support as always. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh, and thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. And this is the end of our webinar. On behalf of the AIBPM, I would like to say thank you to all of you here, to the keynote speakers, to the moderator, the panelists, and the participants. And if you still have any questions regarding the presentation today, please don't hesitate to comment to our YouTube channel. The link has been put in the chat room, and you can also send us email to aibpm.conference@gmail.com. And thank you, and see you on our next webinar on the 11th of August 2020.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It
Thank
was a
you.
very good
Thank
session.
you.
Have a good
Thank you,
day.
everyone.
Enjoyed a lot. Thank you.
Thank you all. Good day.
Good day to all of you.